What's going on, guys? It's Rodimus here. It's good hearing from you guys again. It has been a minute. This is going to be a sitting update video like what I had talked about on the YouTube community regarding the state of affairs and going on with the channel and other channels that I have that are in kind of like my own social network for TACT City. So I'll go over it little by little as I guess just go ahead and catch you guys up to speed, because a lot's happened over the course of just this month that has, in a sense, set back a lot of stuff that I would want to do by now, or have wanted to do, or would have done by now. Because, like, a lot's happened this month collectively, both when the PC got here and losing the laptop. And I wanted to sit during movie night in order to kind of go over all this stuff, but I know not a lot of you guys really either do movie night or are aware of these things happening, because they still happen on Wednesdays. And I just wanted to sit and chill with some people, but it just was not meant to be. So leave it be and I move on. And then I wanted to make a post about these, but not everybody takes the time to read posts and understand wholly what's going on with the situation. So I'll just explain it as best as I'm able to sitting here. That way it's a video documented piece regarding what's happening. And so that way it saves you time of reading and it saves you time of listening. You can just watch. If you can't do anything after that, then I can't do anything for you other than to tell you that I can't service you anymore. That way it saves me the trouble of trying to explain it further, since you can't do anything else after that. So I want to go ahead and start with the laptop. That's what I have here. So at the month's start, this was November 7th, right? November the 7th of this month, the laptop died. This is the one that I've been doing all my projects and stuff with. So I took it to Micro Center for my diagnostics, right? The battery had failed. It's also no longer manufactured and able to source. A second heating issue was also discovered. Cooling mat was currently dealing with the initial issue around the bottom fans that are on the bottom-ish area. And then now the second one's with another fan that's not moving as fast to trigger past a certain point once the station gets warm. That was another problem that I didn't think about, that was actually happening over time. And that's when it gets warm, that's usually like about an hour and some change after it's turned on, or if I'm doing something that requires it to put in effort, like rendering VODs, or if I'm sitting there writing my theses or writing some stuff. The cooling fans themselves weren't good, and even when clean, some of them are too close to being shutting down. So, pending danger issue for the equipment reaching a pivotal overheating point faster that couldn't be reversed if I let it cool off. Then it would be more dangerous if I did it this way and kept doing it over letting it cool off a day or two as a pastime. And it wouldn't be the right way to do that, because it would still have a heating issue that would still ultimately come to pass, or would just stack on. And lastly, the powering on process right at the start, when you go to turn it on, it's not what you're supposed to be doing for the machine to turn on or activate. Because when I turn it on, I essentially have to do the Control-Alt-Escape. I gotta keep holding Escape in order for it to turn on properly. Otherwise it just catches itself, otherwise it just locks itself right at the beginning. And then past that point it just keeps locking if I don't do that. And it just keeps beep, 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 and keep beeping right at the startup process. But if you hit Escape right at the beginning of it, it gets around all that, and then the laptop boots up normally how it should. But it's not supposed to be doing that at all. So That was another issue that for years was a thing, but you just can't do anything about that without restructuring the hardware. And or to get around the stuttering process. Otherwise, it's just looping in order to resume the activation process. So even if the laptop was saved, I have to limit or condense my activities more to compensate on the heating issue, or it wouldn't have much operable time left anyways if the heating issue led to the whole motherboard taking a hit or just being burnt altogether. I had a feeling a couple of these were the issue, or an inevitable issue at that, but not all of this, and so it was a lot to process in really losing this equipment. Point 2 that I want to go ahead and make is we do have the PC now. We do have a PC that we were saving up for. It's a power spec model. I want to. It's the same thing that I had posted about in my updates on Twitter and on Instagram and here on the YouTube channel, right? So I do have it now after all these years. It's just all about the setup. But unfortunately, even setting this shit up, that came at a price, which I'm gradually paying now still. Just in different aspects between reacquiring info, seeing everything from the PC's POV over the laptops, and then needing and understanding new programs over apparently discontinued programs that I was a lot more comfortable with that weren't updated compared to the more updated ones that are more complicated for the sake of simplicity, which is rather contradicting, but that is what it is. And then a couple of the people that I owe, or favors, that I'm still in the process of clearing a lot of that up for pulling through when my credit or the current funds couldn't stack up. Because if you remember when we talked about this all through the latter half of this year and latter half of last year on Twitch, we kept going through all this stuff between the commissions, the streaming, the live one-on-ones, occasional money match. Okay, half of that can probably go to if I win. Half of that goes to a match arena. The other half of that goes into the funds for the PC. The one or two instances that someone had hired me to make them a program or something in the FGC community and in the CSGO community, one of those two, where, okay, I got a decent payment out of that. And then the 2 instances so far that, one from PLS and then the other one from RFL, where I did get financially compensated for making a placement at a tournament. Probably even the more recent one, it just wasn't a lot, because I know the fighters tournament probably didn't really have a lot on it at that time. But still, it is what it is, and any little bit helps. I'm happy for any little bit, or nothing at all. It doesn't matter. But with all that stuff accumulated towards trying to get the PC goal and the promotions and the reshares that people couldn't try to do, or just didn't do, we didn't meet the goal originally. We did not meet the original donation goal. The goal was $400 out of $700 that we were able to get. That PC was actually like $900, close to $1,000 once the handling portion was taken care of, and the warranty, and then the cybersecurity. That was easily like $1,000 that I was looking at. So it's a lot more that I owe myself, and I owe the 2 or 3 other people. 2 people now. When I finish up my stuff later on in this following week, currently, then I don't owe one person anymore. So then it goes back down to 2. And like I said, I'm all in fine with this because it was like people that were able to pitch in, and I'm able to pay back my dues gradually for them as I would anybody else that's known me. It's a gradual process in order to make sure that I get all this correct. But I am doing this correctly. Because this is more important than doing the stuff in the gaming realm, which is why the stuff in the gaming realm has been dwindling. And that's something that I'll get into later on in this segment. Yeah, so the laptop's gone. The PC is up and running and now trying to take the place of the laptop. It is a gaming PC. The money is still the lacking part I have to make up for. Number 3 is the Twitch. So amidst this forced setup transition over to personal computer, access to my Twitch has been disrupted right now, as my current setup doesn't recognize my Twitch. I've been trying to figure this out for the past couple of weeks. So I can't even get comfortable trying to stream and go live and try to explain some of this, or just make the most of the situation with you guys and just go back to streaming anyways and just stop doing tournaments for a while and then just go back to what I was originally doing before I delved deeper into the competitive verse. But I couldn't even do that. I have to do YouTube. YouTube is just slow. And I just wanted to sit and really explain a lot here with what's been happening so it wouldn't pile on so much at a time like this. I'm still working with my mods to go into recovery mode with this, but it's a trial. It's a very long trial right now in order to try to recorrect this SMS coding, so that way I can get the code I need to get back into my account and then just relink everything like what I need to do. If people know some people that know PC and would like to help with this, let me know. I would definitely enjoy trying to get back to what it is I was originally doing that was comforting to me and comforting for my surroundings and my environment. If people know people, just tell them to hit me up, please. I'm trying to avoid wanting to, well, as much as I would like to use another platform, YouTube is the only one that seems to be structurally viable right now in order to do whatever this is. I just don't like the way that YouTube is slow. I don't like how I don't like the lack of editing. I don't like the lack of cutting screen time. You can't do any of that. You can't really multi-manage media with YouTube, and you can't do links or custom links on YouTube live streams. It can only be what you have preset, unless Nightbot can also be registered to YouTube if I'm not recollecting correctly. Which that's another thing I still can't get into because Nightbot is linked with my Twitch, so it's one or the other. So when I go into Nightbot for one, you go into it for the same login. And I'm not trying to go into Twitch and make a new Twitch because I already have 5-6 years invested on that Twitch channel, and I'm not trying to sit here and redo this shit on account of a login misunderstanding. And I can't get access to it or find people that can help me to just recorrect this, as easy or complicated as it might be. And the shit's just annoying. And so right now it's just, I'd rather not use Twitch. If I can't get it back, I'd rather not do it again, because I'm not going to sit and invest another 5-6 years just to get back to a higher end of affiliate, because I'm close to partner with my current Twitch outline. I'm very close to partner if I get hit with the right raid, whenever the hell that happens. And I'm not trying to sit here and start at the bottom and then earn some half-ass check from Twitch that was already half-assed before I was affiliate, is just more thoroughly half-assed now after being Twitch affiliate. I'm not going to sit here and try and grind all that shit out again and grind all the prerequisites and all the challenge stumbling blocks in order to climb the ladder to get back to a decent payout every time I go to stream. Now, I got better shit to be doing with my time and a better behemoth to fuel the engine that I have for my gaming platform, both professionally or semi-professionally, however, at this point, than using Twitch, if that's the case. And the problem is that there's no other sites viable that are safe. Because I've never trusted Kick. Kick has been shady since it got here. Mixer's dead. Facebook Gaming is basically dead. And then Reddit, the Reddit portion of Reddit streaming, or what, Reddit link, was never viable. It was something that was only a small portion of time. And then it just fell off the deep end, basically along with Mixer. And there's nothing else really viable right now. There's nothing else viable that I can really use, unless there's OBS or some shit that I'm not thinking of. I don't know. That's some more I have to explore and figure out other routes that I can take now, as opposed to what it is I was originally using, until I can get that back in my favor, or whatever I'm going to do with that. So when I stop to think about this, even if it was saved, then I'd have to limit down stuff or just not be able to use too much more of it anyways, right? This laptop has been here for 22 years. Patrick had it originally in 2001, and then I inherited it after he died in 2014, and I had it ever since. And then our work in gaming soon just became my own, and it still felt like he was helping a lot of this stuff along that we were doing over the years. In a way, I'm not wrong, because in a way I feel like he still has been with me in order to get the laptop to this point before it did finally give out on me. Because all the shit that was wrong with this thing, between the heating thing, the cooling, the fan issues, and then the buggy startup, and having a series of mini strokes, like all the shit that was wrong with it should have been broke down years ago. And it's probably at the start of COVID lockdown is when I started using it like way, way more, to be honest. But it didn't. And so for that, like the extra 3-4 years, I'm blessed that equipment holds too much irreplaceable sentimental value to just discard it. So I started my gaming, writing, and aspirations back in high school, and hell, even more professionally with the equipment when I first got started, and started doing my own recording. I originally just recorded using my earlier phone, a 7-Eleven-ish phone that was on like some really choppy recording error, but it could actually record, upload it to my YouTube channel, or download it here, and then I can upload it. Trying to think, it was a lot over the years. Yeah, I wrote my original gaming journey about how I wanted to try and be the best gamer in my state, and then use my stuff to make a difference. I wrote that years ago. I still had the file on here. It was taken out during the external extraction. It was one of the things that I was really wanting to make sure that it was salvaged during the external process, so that way I can continue trying to write that later on down the line, once I either get my footing somewhere or I just have time to really turn my attention back to it, because I have not had time to do that. Yeah, I started my gaming, writing, and aspirations more professionally with that equipment when I first started. I did this for COD Ghosts, Borderlands, Transformers, Dark of the Moon, War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, and Destiny. And then it was around that time when he got sick, and then he passed away.
And then his family wanted me to have his this thing, wanted me to have his laptop. And I've had it ever since. And when I turned on the program and I went through a lot of the stuff with his father, there was a lot of the programs here that we were working on over the years. And so I kept those. I also renamed the laptop too, because I originally was going to call this Static, like a Static Shock reference. But I decided to go ahead and actually just name it after Patrick, because I named it after its original owner. That way I always have a piece of my best friend with me when I go to do the work that I originally started with him. Now I was going to do this long journey on my own. And I guess, hey, this is the way that it happens sometimes. But this laptop and I have had a lot of adventures in place of adventures with me and Patrick. Because I had all those games, and then the Kingdom Hearts stuff came about, Xenoverse, Diablo, Uncharted, Monster Hunter, Rainbow Six Siege, and then coming later on into playing fighting games, more shooting games, puzzle-based stuff, basically going in a lot more gaming culture and cultural norms of online communities, structured and fractured aspects both. It's a lot that came full circle multiple times within this guy's time with me. And it's 22 years well spent, I feel. 22 years very well spent, and I couldn't have asked for a better unit to help in my journey's start. And now I have Optimist that can try and take it the rest of the way.
Is the Iacon battle circuit. So originally what it is I had was the situation that had happened with the Twitch. It had compromised two of the icons that had happened at that time. It basically structurally compromised them to where Iacon lost Injustice 19 and Iacon 54 on Dragon Ball were lost, and I just couldn't sort it out by that deadline. A couple of weeks ago, it was that Sunday was the deadline before Twitch's VODs disperse. They give you a 2-week time period in order to pull your VODs or clips. Well, if you do clips, they can stay, but if you do VODs, then you have 2 weeks, 15 days. It's finicky on the last day because they give you time past the actual designated time it technically should be taken off to still take off your equipment or take off your VODs. And it had compromised trying to get those VODs out there. One of the people from my Dragon Ball sitting, and also used to play Destiny, saw this and it helped out with this, which Nep Sixa, thank you so much for helping out with that. He saw this and was able to Google Doc both the icons for Injustice and Dragon Ball, and then send those to me as a file that he emailed to me like 3 or 4 days later. And he was able to save them, and the VODs were salvaged. It was really remarkable. And again, I thank him. I was honestly ready to just let that go because I was trying to save everything that I had from that channel. There's still a couple of things left that are on that channel that I would still like to get off of it right now, but for right now, I'll leave them be. I can bite the bullet on that. And I was hoping to try and get all that stuff off the channel, off the platform, in attempting to bounce back as quickly as I did, but I didn't bounce back as quickly as I would have liked because I'm still kind of sort of at a loss right now. And so it led to the decision of me putting Iacon events on hiatus. Because Twitch is also like the fastest way, along with Discord, where it's proven effective in housing many players consistently. in a single revolving sitting without delay, issue, or setback on response time or value. And it hurts to say that I have to put it in the shop for a little bit because my work is far from finished for online's general prosperity. But I have to. Like, the Icon battle circuit as a whole is honestly just canceled for right now. As a result, until further notice in resolving this setback or issue. And lastly, I guess is just, mental health. Because a lot of this has just been a taxing and stressful transition that was just made more complicated by just the circumstance, and honestly the loss of the laptop just complicated a lot that could have been made simpler. Like you can't plan for everything in life, and that's fine. For this, I wanted to, like, if I had the support for getting this done earlier, what I wanted to do was to make the slow transition from using the laptop to the PC, but still have access to the laptop generally. That way I can slowly transfer the norms here to the PC, and it wouldn't be made so complicated. That way I still have a comfort level that I'm comfortable with doing something on as slow as it is, because the laptop was getting very slow. But I was still more comfortable doing this than with the PC, and I would have preferred learning a lot of the stuff on the PC little by little and doing a lot of my important stuff with banking and then gaming on the PC as opposed to what I was doing on the laptop. But the other way this went was that the laptop died, and so it just forced me to transition sooner, and then I have to learn everything on the PC within like a week's time, less than a week's time, in order to try to reinstate everything that I have on the laptop, plus apply stuff from the external that was extracted directly from the laptop, and then also reinstate one or two other things I had for my mother. And it just taxes on, and just leads to a lot of depressing moments to try and accept all this shit. And I wanted to really sit and talk about a lot of this so it doesn't feel so depressing, revisiting a lot of this over and over again. Because it's learning something entirely new. I'm being forced to learn something entirely new in order to salvage what I have. And it's a long process of adaptation that all right now just starts out completely the other way than what I wanted. Because what I wanted to do was to have both of them here, so if the laptop died on me, which it probably would have eventually, because it was on the verge of going further downhill, so it only made sense that it was going to die sooner or later, as long as I've had it. I wanted to have them here, that way it would be a lot easier to transition into being a hybrid player. Because I want to be a hybrid player that plays both on PC and on PlayStation, that way I can have the best of both worlds. Still doable, but it's going to be difficult to manage that now. Well, at least the beginning portion of it is going to be very rocky in order to settle down that path. But now that path is here. So, there's that. And I think that pretty much covers just about everything. If I talked about everything, the laptop, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that covers everything. So, hey, thanks for watching the update video. And then just sitting with me, tuning in, and figure out where next we go with the channel, right? I'll keep you guys in the loop on whenever as I do the next one and do the next sitting for something like this. I wanted to try and have it be more of a personal touch, as opposed to what I was originally going to do with a VOD style thing where in a voiceover. It just made more sense for it to just be more personal and go over the stuff, because the continuation of the channels does lie in jeopardy somewhat between YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, I guess. And if I'm trying to bring in another third party streaming service that can also accommodate my needs, I don't know. But anywho, I thank you guys out there for listening to my story and all the stuff that happened here over the past month. If you guys need me, you know where to find me. Like always, till all are one.